Hello everybody, this is Kismet. Whether you're new to healing or whether you're just trying to be better at it, as any great healer is always trying to do, I'm going to talk a bit about Sage Healing. This is my primary class in Star Wars: The Old Republic, my favorite class. I have a lot of fun healing the team, and I'm going to share all my best tips with you right now. Now, I'm going to go above and beyond all the other guides that you see. I'm going to show you all the skills, how they interact with your buffs and debuffs, as well as I'm going to show you my skill rotations that I use in every single raid that I do. And they are going to help you a lot. Now, stick with me. There's a lot of great information, so let's go right to it. Now, the first thing we need to do is get over to the training area. You can travel between the ships, or you can use your quick travel and just go to the Gab Daragon. Now, I like to use the Priority Transport Fleet Vanguard vessel, which you can get from your Legacy because it takes you right by the elevators. Once you arrive, you want to go ahead and head toward the elevator. Then go ahead and click on the blue elevator switch and go to the bridge deck. Once you're on the bridge deck, I'm going to go ahead and pull up your map and look in the bottom right corner. That's where the training area is, and we'll head on over there. Now, once you're in the training area, you're going to see this thing right here. It's called Bolster. It helps you when you're doing your raid testing. Now, there's various training dummies around the area here. There's the Operations one. There's the War Zone, which is the player versus player one, aka PvP. And the other two are just combat training targets, the higher end one here, and then the lower level one here. But the one we're going to use the most in this video is the Operations training target. So let's go right to it and start with a basic bubble, also known as Force Armor. This one's really great. What it does is it reduces the damage people take, so you have to do less healing. It'll save you in a lot of situations. Plus, if you put it on yourself, as you can see, it does a self-heal if you have the right utility turned on. There's also a cooldown on your Force Armor, which is called Force Imbalance right here. It's also called a debuff. Notice how it's blue versus the one that is actually buffing you, which is the purple one. Also, I've modified my UI to make my debuffs larger so that I can see them easier. I'll run you through how easy it is to set that up in another video. Now let's go ahead and move on to another powerful skill, Rejuvenate. This skill heals, then it does heals over time, and it also helps you heal better on your next skill. Always do Rejuvenate first before doing some of your other skills. So let's go ahead and swipe over our buffs here. We've got Force Armor, which absorbs damage. Also from Force Armor, we have Protected, which increases our armor rating. We've got Conveyance going, which we're getting from that Rejuvenate, which is going to make the next healing skill more effective. As well as we have Rejuvenate's heal over time going. And the last one is Bolster, which just kind of helps us here in the training area. Now we're going to use the next two skills together. We're going to use Rejuvenate and then Healing Trance, which is a channeling skill, which is also going to unlock some other instant cast skills. The next skill we're going to do is Deliverance. It's one of the biggest heals that you have. And it also unlocks another smaller instant heal called Benevolence. The buff for that is called Altruism. And it is timed, so it will go away if you don't use it. When used in combination, the skill takes no power. Now the other two that are glowing on my bar right here were unlocked through Healing Trance. We've got Salvation, which is an AoE heal, which should only realistically be cast whenever it's an instant skill because it takes too long to channel it. And an absolute must to master, which is Vindicate. Done right, Vindicate will give you a boost to your power regeneration, which you can see that buff right here called Amnesty, and will restore power instantly without any negative effects. Whoa, 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 what do you mean negative effects? Well, that's a great question. If you use Vindicate without doing Healing Trance first, it will give you this debuff called Weary, which reduces your power regen. You don't want that to happen. And the interesting thing is you can use Healing Trance plus Vindicate to reduce your Weary stacks. Or just let the Weary debuff run out and all the stacks will come off at once, even if you have 4. Now, Healing Trance creates the buff Resplendence. Now, Resplendence can have up to 3 stacks. 2 stacks will get you 2 Vindicates. 3 stacks will get you an Instacast Salvation AoE heal. Or you can use all 3 stacks to get 3 Vindicates. Great way to restore a whole bunch of power really quickly, though it's very inefficient. In practice, you should do 1 Rejuvenate, then Healing Trance, then 1 Vindicate to boost your power regen. Save the last stack, and then do Rejuvenate and Healing Trance again to unlock Salvation, which is your AoE heal, and it's going to instacast. Now we did a whole bunch of boosted healing, we boosted our power regen, and we did an AoE heal. We probably just saved the whole group. I just told you a whole bunch of awesome stuff there, and you're on your way to being a great healer. Let's keep going. Now, right now, you're probably going, whoa, 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 Kismet. That's a whole lot of stuff to remember. Well, it's actually not that hard after a while. It's just remembering that you have to use those combos. We'll talk more about mastering those at the end of this video. Let's go ahead and move on to utility skills, also known as traits. Now, utility skills are dynamic based on what you're doing, but as a general rule, this is a great place to start, and you can adapt it as you need it later on. Now the first utility is Psychic Suffusion. What it does a Force Wave heal whenever you're using your knockback. This one. Next is Pain Barrier, a great utility skill, gives you plus 10% to your healing. Next is Humility, you stun them and then they do 25% less damage. Egress works with Force Speed. You press this one, it'll remove all your movement effects, it'll make you run faster and you can get the heck out of there. At the very least, it'll make you more mobile so you're not standing in the wrong spot. Now Confound affects weakened mind, so you put the dot spell on them and then it slows them by 30%. Now this is an amazing newer skill called Force Mobility, where you can actually heal while moving on some of your skills. It is pretty awesome. Not only does it affect the healing line, but it also affects the other two DPS lines for the Consular. Here it is in action. I start with Rejuvenate and then a Healing Trance where I can do while actually moving. It is an incredible boon to sages. And that brings us to Life Ward. It works with your Force Armor and your Force Barrier. It allows your Force Armor, aka your bubble, to heal you. Now this also lets your Force Barrier heal you, as well as it creates Enduring Bastion, which heals you after your Force Barrier ends, based on how many stacks you have. Alright, that's a lot to absorb. Let's go ahead and see that in action. Now here's Life Ward plus our Force Armor, aka our bubble. Notice it's healing me for about 1,584 each tick. Next we're going to do Life Ward plus Force Barrier. Notice here on the left the Force Barrier stacks are building up, and when it finishes it will then convert over to Enduring Bastion. Also while in the bubble you can't be interrupted. Notice I'm getting healed for 6,508. Now let's try that again. This time let's use Force Armor and Force Barrier, finishing with a Force Armor at the end, and watch how much healing is stacked on us at the same time. The Enduring Bastion giving us 6,508 and the Force Armor giving us 1,627. That is some awesome self-healing and will make a huge difference when you need it most. And here's an extra PvP tip for you. Keep your stun break ready, because if you're in PvP, this is normally when people try to stun you, right when you come out of your Force Barrier. So be ready for your stun break and also your Force Speed to break out of any routes. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, hey Kismet, you missed one. What about this one right here? Oh, I didn't miss it. This one I wanted to accentuate for you guys because this is Wandering Mend. It will go from one person to the next person to the next person. It'll bounce 3 times up to 4 targets and heal each and every one of them. Now I prefer to use Wandering Mend over Salvation because it's easier to use and people won't walk out of it. It also requires less setup, less casting time, and overall a more efficient skill. Now let's finish up my main bar here with talking about criticals down here. Force Potency, Mental Alacrity, and also our 2 relics that I'm going to go ahead and move around here so they're kind of next to each other. Now the reason why I put these together is they both do Alacrity, which essentially just makes you cast faster. Except Mental Alacrity gives you 2 extra bonuses. You're immune to pushback and interrupts for 10 seconds. Now Force Potency gives you 2 crit charges for healing or DPS. I save this up when I'm going to do big heals or big DPS. One of the biggest mistakes is saving this up too much. You want to use it, you want to keep it on cooldown, unless you need it in a very specific spot in the fight. Now this last one is for power. In case I'm in dire need of power, I can go ahead and just click on it and boom, it gives me a boost to my power. Now it kind of looks like your power goes down, but your overall amount of power goes up. Now you've learned a lot of stuff along the way, now it's time to get down to the nitty gritty. Now healing is an art form. It is not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type of thing. So you're going to have to master when and where and who lives and who dies to keep the party going. So here we go. Now I'm going to click through my skills, which I don't recommend. I suggest getting like a Razor Naga with a whole bunch of buttons on the side. That is a much better way to do your rotations. But it's visually easier for you to understand what I'm doing if you can see exactly which skills I'm doing. I'm also going to display them on the screen like this. Now Force Armor is your go-to start skill. Not only do you want to put it on yourself, but you want to start actually by putting it on the tank and yourself, and then anyone else who's taking damage. You don't necessarily have to have Force Armor on everybody if they're not taking damage, but if someone's taking damage, even if they're super low health, this can save their life in many situations. Another important thing is to ask other sages if they have their own healing bubble. If you put a bubble on them, they can't bubble themselves, and thus they don't get a self-heal. Alright, so we're going to start with a Force Armor. Notice the healing already starting. Then a Rejuvenate into a Healing Trance. Now we have a self-heal going, we got an instant heal plus a heal over time. We've heal boosted our next skill, which is Healing Trance, which then channel healed us and then also unlocked some other skills. Our instant cast Salvation if we were lucky enough to get 3 stacks, and our Vindicate. Now that's what I would call a healing opener. You want to start with that. Bubble everybody, rejuvenate, healing trance. Now you've got a whole bunch of stuff unlocked, you're ready to rock. Now to finish this opener, I would do Vindicate to restore some of your power and also get your power regen boost going that we talked about earlier called Amnesty. Now it does run out pretty quickly, so make sure to keep this buff going as often as possible. Now I'm going to show you the rest of the combos through the other skills, but normally at this point you want to adapt and heal. Evaluate the situation and decide, do I need a small heal, a big heal, a channel heal, heal over time? It's all on you. Nearly all of these skill rotations always start with a Rejuvenate, because it's going to give your next heal a boost. Then after that Rejuvenate, it's time for Wandering Mend. It's going to bounce around to different people and heal them. While we're waiting for our Force Bubble and Rejuvenate again, time for a quick Vindicate. We've got the extra stack over here, let's use it. Let's restart our rotation again, Force Armor, Rejuvenate, Healing Trance, and because we saved up that one stack, we have a higher chance of getting that instant Salvation cast. Also notice that Salvation gave us an insta-cast Benevolence, just like Deliverance does. Hey, let's use that, because it doesn't cost any power. Speaking of Deliverance, let's go ahead and do Rejuvenate and Deliverance. Notice I didn't get a Benevolence. If you can, give it a bit of a break before you do Rejuvenate and Deliverance again. Notice here, I got it this time. Alright, you're doing awesome. Now it's time to take the kid gloves off and run through my rotations with just the icons with no names or anything and see if you can tell what I'm doing. Did you catch all that? Great! Well, if you didn't get all of it right away, that's okay as well. It does take some practice. Now, you've always got this video as a reference, as well as some other videos coming down the road. Stick with it. Get out there and practice. I wish you all the best. Thanks for watching this guide, and I'll see you guys in the next one.